I would have to take recourse to Islamic eschatology to locate the implications of that attack in the larger framework of Islam's conception of Akhirul Zaman, because I am convinced that it is located precisely in that subject. In the process also of offering my analysis, I will have to offer opinions of mine. If a politician and a prime minister and a government official and a businessman and a carpenter and a taxi driver can offer opinions, why can't a scholar of Islam do the same thing? What's wrong with that? Provided, of course, that we recognize that only Allah does not make mistakes. Number one. And number two, in my instance, I always insist that when I offer my opinion or my view on any subject, I insist that my audience should never accept my view unless and until you are convinced that it is correct. If you can offer me anything better than that, please tell me. I think I've reached the limit. So I should be allowed to offer my opinion and my views. I'm not a prophet. I don't have an angel or a jinn whispering into my ears. I'm offering you opinions based on analysis. And I have the right to do so. And those who warn people don't listen to Imran Hosein should be ashamed of themselves. Having said that, we say that Israel wants to attack Iran because Israel ultimately wants to rule the world. Because the Zionists want to rule the world. Because the Judeo-Christian Zionist European Alliance wants to deliver to the state of Israel the status of ruling state in the world. That's why we believe all these wars are taking place. But why does Israel want to rule the world? They said some 50, 60 years ago, and even then they were telling monstrous lies. So 9/11 was not the first lie. They said that all that we want to do is to create a Jewish homeland in the Holy Land where Jews can live in safety and security. That's all we want to do. And we say that was a monstrous lie. What you wanted to do was to establish a Zionist state in the Holy Land, which would seek to impersonate Holy Israel, the holy state of Israel, that was established by Nabi Dawood alayhi salam, the Prophet David, and Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam, the Prophet Solomon, and that this Zionist state of Israel would one day rule the world. That's what you wanted to do. And you want Israel to rule the world so that one day, not too long from now incidentally, a man would stand up in Israel. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam described that man to us 1400 years ago or more. So if you're listening in Washington tonight, let's tell you what the Prophet said. And if you're listening in London and in Jerusalem tonight, let's tell you what Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said. He said that that man would be a Jew He would be a young man. And so the end of history will witness young people taking over the world. He would be a powerfully built man. He would have curly hair. And he would declare, I am the Messiah. But that would be a lie. The Messiah is the son of Mary. Sorry, more than that. He was the son of the Virgin Mary. There's only one virgin in the world who ever gave birth to a son and still remained a virgin. And that was Jesus, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. He is the Messiah. Muslims believe that. And most Christians believe that. I don't know whether the Zionist Christians also believe that. Somebody should ask them. He is the Messiah. And one day he's coming back, said Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Whether Washington believes that or not is irrelevant. One day he's going to come back, said Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And when he comes back, he's going to rule the world from Jerusalem. That is in the hadith, because he would be Hakimul Adil, a ruler who will rule on the basis of justice. Those who today rule the world do so with injustice. That's why they want this Israel to rule the world. Because that man who says, I am the Messiah, would not be the son of the Virgin Mary. No, said Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he would be al-Masih al-Dajjal, the false Messiah, the Antichrist. Every Muslim knows about him. Most Christians know about him. I don't know about the Zionist Christians. And so lots of people know this subject. And that moment when that man is going to rule the world from Jerusalem appears to me to be around the corner. Maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years. And so this is why they want to attack Iran. We want to begin our analysis tonight by pointing out that there is a moral foundation to the law of war and peace. And that moral foundation is that you do not launch wars unless there is a just cause for it. Iran has not done anything. Iran has not attacked Israel. Iran has not launched any missiles on Israel. Iran is not waging war on Israel. And so, in accordance with your Israeli law of war, which has an immoral foundation, no morality attached to it, you have the right to wage war against the people unjustly. And so, an attack on Iran would be unjust war. It would be an act of dhulm, in using the language of the Quran, an act of wickedness. Those who launch the attack would be a people who are committing monstrous sin. But I want to say something more. To those who are beating the drums of war in the Arab world, and who are looking forward to the attack on Iran, that you are beating the drums of unjust war. And when the attack takes place, you will be committing the same sin as supporters of the war, as those who are themselves perpetrating the war. And shame on you! Shame on you, we say to you, straight to your faces, from here in Malaysia, that if you support the attack on Iran, you are supporting unjust war. You are yourselves a party of dhulm, and Allah does not provide guidance to the people who commit dhulm. One of the reasons why many Arabs, not all Arabs, not at all, but many Arabs are beating the drums of war, looking forward to an attack on Iran, is because Iran is Shia. They hold the view that Shia are kuffar, and hence it is permissible to launch war on the kuffar, the disbelievers. How can you come to this conclusion, the Shia are kuffar? If the Shia are kuffar, then there must be some ijma' or consensus of opinion on that subject. That consensus has never been achieved in 1400 years. Why? How can we say so? Here is proof. This is not the only proof, but this is adequate. That no regime in control of the Hijaz, in control of the Hajj, in our history that we know of, has ever prevented the Shia from performing the Hajj. As a consequence, we say, it is too late in the day now for you to come with any manufactured arguments declaring the Shia to be kuffar. Yes, we agree that it is an act of profound misguidance to declare that Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper, and that Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper, and that Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper. Three of the foremost companions of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. It's a massive vote of no confidence in the Prophet himself alayhi salatu wasalam. And we say of those who insist that these three companions of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam were usurpers, we say you are profoundly misguided. But we never say that you are not Muslims. You still are our Muslim brothers. And so the argument that the Shia are kuffar and hence it is permissible to launch war on them is invalid. But secondly, does the religion of Islam say it is permissible to wage war on kuffar? Where did you learn your Islam from? Mars or Venus or Jupiter? Huh? This is the religion of Islam. Truth is from your Lord. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whosoever wishes is free to accept, and whosoever wishes is free to reject kufr. La ikraha fid din, says the Quran. There is no compulsion in matters of religion. And so you are not permitted in Islam to wage war against any people because they are kuffar. No. There is a version of Islam today which has emerged in the world, which seems to have originated in Saudi Arabia with Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. It used to be called Wahhabi, it's now called Salafi, and I have students of mine who are Salafi, and they are my students. which can best be described as a Protestant version of Islam. Protestantism in the modern world is a conception of religion which reduces religion to texts and which interprets texts literally. As a consequence, Protestant Islam is incapable of distinguishing between appearance and reality, particularly when they differ with each other. But let's leave that fairly technical subject for a while. It is Protestant Islam today which is beating the drums against the Shia. Muslims who are Sunni and Muslims who are Shia have lived together for 1400 years, peacefully, amicably, without any boxing gloves, fighting with each other, without any bloodletting. And it is strange that at a time when the Zionists are about to move to their final stage of the mission, there should come this strange drum beating from that version of Islam with great hostility to the Shia and paving the way for promoting war against the Shia. They call it a jihad against the Shia. They would like to force the Shia to abandon their Shia beliefs and to become Sunni. Do you do it by warfare? Actually, although they themselves may not understand it, the drum beating against the Shia and the attack which is about to be launched on Iran is located in a larger framework in which those who are waging war on Islam are seeking to do something that will function as a catalyst for creating Sunni-Shia civil war in the world of Islam. Sunni-Shia civil war would be something that would be massively beneficial for Israel. Number one, Sunni-Shia civil war will make Islam look negatively, a negative image in the world. At a moment when Islam is center stage in the attention of the whole world. Number two, Sunni-Shia civil war in Islam, Sunni versus Shia, would function as a diversion, diverting attention, both Muslim and non-Muslim attention, away from the plans of the Zionists to rule the world. Thirdly, Muslims fighting against themselves will obviously lead to a loss of power. Our power will decrease, and that will be strategically advantageous for Israel. But most important of all, if an attack on Iran provokes Sunnis to be so foolish as to turn in hatred against the Shia, and provokes Shia to be equally foolish to turn in hatred against the Sunni, then that Sunni-Shia civil war, and I hope none in our audience here tonight is so stupid, it will allow that Sunni-Shia civil war to destabilize very important parts of the world of Islam. where there are significant Shia communities living amongst the Sunnis. Before we turn to identifying those areas which can be destabilized and advantageous for Israel, let us conclude this section by asking, how should Sunni Muslims around the world, who I hope would listen to this lecture, how should Sunni Muslims respond to an unjust Israeli and NATO attack on Iran? Number one, Sunni Muslims must follow the guidance of the Quran and the guidance which has come from Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and not follow CNN and Al Jazeera. And you must support the victim of aggression. وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Even if the victim of aggression is not your friend. In this case, he's your Muslim brother. You must support the victim of aggression, and you must condemn the aggressor. That is the first response. Iran will be a victim of aggression, and Israel will be an aggressor. How should Pakistan respond if Israel attacks Iran? And I hope the Pakistani people are listening. How should Egypt respond if Israel attacks Iran? Pakistani Muslims and Egyptian Muslims must ensure that they, the people, don't wait on the governments and don't wait on the armed forces. The people must respond by showing massive popular support for Iran as a victim of aggression, and must clearly condemn not only those who wage war on Iran, but also those who support those who are waging war on Iran, with particular reference to the government of Saudi Arabia. Number two, so we have dealt briefly with the Sunni Shia civil war problem. War on Iran, and my gosh, look how much time has gone. War on Iran obviously is going to impact on the world economy. Number one, on the price of oil. Not only because Iran is a major supplier of oil, but also because Iran is located in that basin that the Iranians call the Persian Gulf and the Arabs call the Arab Gulf, and they're still fighting over the words. This is the oil basin, and the river Euphrates enters into this basin. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam told us 1400 years ago that the river Euphrates will uncover a mountain of gold. I suggest that you don't wait for the metal. I want to suggest to you that this is not a text to be understood literally. Protestant Islam is going to wait for a mountain of the metal. Let them wait. And we're not speaking disrespectfully of Protestant Islam. No, we're not speaking disrespectfully of the Salafis. Let me repeat it. I am not speaking disrespectfully of the Salafis, and I'm not speaking disrespectfully of their methodology or for literal interpretation of the text. All I'm saying is let them wait for the mountain of the metal. We interpret the text differently. And we say that mountain of gold is already here. And it's black gold. And it's oil. And the Prophet prophesied that they're going to fight over it. And in the end, 99 out of every 100 are going to be killed. Conventional wars don't kill 99 out of every 100. Conventional wars do not kill 99% of all combatants. This has to be nuclear war to kill 99% of all combatants. Okay? So the Persian Gulf or the Arab Gulf is waiting for nuclear attacks. The price of oil is going to shoot up because Iran can also block the Straits of Hormuz. Yes, Iranian territory on this side and Oman on that side. It's not difficult for Iran to block the Straits of Hormuz and disrupt the passage of oil tankers. So we can anticipate fairly confidently that the price of oil is going to escalate dramatically once the attack takes place. And the American government knows that. And that's why the American government does not want Iran to be attacked. Because the American government knows, and the Federal Reserve knows, and the bankers also know that the US dollar is going to collapse. It will not survive an Israeli attack on Iran with the price of oil shooting up through the roof. And if the US dollar collapses, of course, they're going to have to demonetize the US dollar. It will no longer be legal tender. They have to have something in place. They probably already have something to replace it, but at a fraction of its previous value. The American economy is going to collapse. Large numbers of white Americans are going to lose their wealth. And many of them are going to be listening to this lecture. There's going to be chaos in the United States when the economy collapses. There can be riots in the United States, and they're already anticipating that. And so an attack on Iran would lead to economic, financial, and monetary consequences that will be disastrous for the US economy. Israel wants to become the new ruling state in the world. And for that you have to go to my book. Would someone kindly give me a copy of Jerusalem in the Quran? You have to go to my book Jerusalem in the Quran for the Islamic eschatology. The Dajjal, when he's released on earth, will live for 40 days. The Prophet said, one day like a year, one day like a month, one day like a week, and all the rest of his days like your days. We said a day like a year, and Britain became the ruling state in the world. And the world experienced what they call Pax Britannica. It wasn't Pax at all, it was only war. And then came a day like a month over here, and the United States of America replaced Britain as the next ruling state in the world. And Pax Britannica was replaced with Pax Americana. And the British sterling pound was replaced by the US dollar. And we said, this is our opinion, that a day like a year came to an end and was replaced by a day like a month. This is the first time in our history that this hadith was interpreted this way. And now we are saying that a day like a month is coming to an end and a day like a week is commencing. And so there has to be a passage from the United States to a third ruling state. And 10 years ago when this book was published, we said the third ruling state is Israel. Israel wants to become the third ruling state. For Israel to become the third ruling state, the United States has to collapse. And so this is going to be the collapse of the economy. Not just the US economy, but more than that. With the dramatic rise in the price of oil, you're going to have a significant rise in the cost of living around the world. Transportation costs are going to escalate. Food prices are going to escalate. Energy prices will rise. And this is also going to affect the prices of manufactured goods. The poor of the world will sink as soon as Israel attacks Iran into greater poverty and in some cases destitution. In Yemen now, they can't afford to buy the cooking gas with which to cook. The middle class around the world will sink into poverty. And when there are so many poor, the majority of mankind in poverty, it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier to rule the world. With people who are too poor to organize themselves, to resist oppression and resist slavery. How should we respond to this impending economic collapse, financial and monetary collapse? How should we respond to the imminent rise of the cost of living around the world? How should we respond? My opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinion before we end tonight. My opinion is to go to that hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. He said about Akhirul Zaman, he said, if you have land, hold on to your land. You're familiar with that, aren't you? And he said, if you have animals, hold on to your animals. And then a man asks, O Messenger of Allah, what about if we have neither land nor animals? He said, sharpen your sword. Of course, CNN is going to call him a terrorist now. He said, sharpen your sword. Because you're going to be dealing with chaos and anarchy and riots as people seek to survive by fighting each other for food. Where can we get land and animals to sustain ourselves in this impending collapse? The answer is certainly not in the cities. If you believe that you can survive in the cities and get land and animals in the cities, you should buy a one-way ticket to the moon. And so Egypt, I'm talking to you tonight. In Pakistan, I'm talking to you tonight. Listen to me and get out of the cities. 20 million people in a city, 15 million people in a city. Who's going to feed them? Where are you going to get your food from? What's going to be the price of that food? Get out of the cities while still there is time. Go to the countryside. Go to where rain falls. Go to where there is water. And produce your own food. Dairy crops, food crops, dairy farming, milk and meat, so that you can survive the storm that is coming. Ensure there is water supply. Do not depend on oil for energy. Use natural energy. A bicycle is natural energy. Wind, solar energy, water energy. Number 2, live in small communities, because small communities can more easily sustain themselves without having to be dependent on supplies of food from outside the communities. We now return to Pakistan. An attack on Iran can be launched simultaneously with an attack on Pakistan. The purpose would be to eliminate Pakistan from the nuclear club. But we've been saying this for 10 years now. When the attack on America took place in September 2001, we produced a booklet 2 months later, a Muslim response to the attack on America. That booklet is on my website. And in that booklet we said that those who planned and executed 9/11 had as their ultimate target Pakistan. And they put the blame on Afghanistan so that they could put their troops in Afghanistan so that they'll be advantageously located for moving in on the final target, which is Pakistan. Why Pakistan? Why is Pakistan so important? The answer is Pakistan is a member of the nuclear club. It is the only Muslim country which possesses nuclear weapons. And according to the Bible of the Zionists, no Muslim country must be able to defend itself. The Zionist Bible says that no Muslim country must have nuclear weapons. But the Zionist Bible says Israel can have as many nuclear weapons as it wants. And Israel should be able to also use its nuclear weapons according to their moral law. And because Pakistan has nuclear weapons, Pakistan has to be denuclearized. Their strategy for denuclearizing Pakistan appeared to me 10 years ago to be to try to so destabilize Pakistan that there may be civil war in Pakistan, and then use that civil war as an excuse that we have to save the world from a nuclear holocaust. We have to save the world from nuclear weapons landing in the hands of terrorists. And so we have a mission. For the sake of mankind, we have to attack and invade Pakistan and destroy the nuclear plants in Pakistan and destroy the nuclear weapons in Pakistan, and also break up Pakistan into bits and pieces so it can never rise again. When that happens, of course, we must have a Zionist friend to take over and control all the pieces. And it is time for Muslims around the world to recognize, including Muslims in Iran, that Israel's most strategic partner, most strategic ally in the world today, after the United States, is India, with Saudi Arabia neck and neck behind India. And so, not only must India be involved in the attack, but also when the attack takes place on Pakistan, and if it succeeds, then in the sequel it is India who must now control the region on Israel's behalf.